Hey everybody, JJ here. It is November 2nd, 2020. Wanted to make this video, quick report today. Wanted to focus on a few things. We're going to briefly talk about the market, but we're going to talk about some other bigger picture type of preparations and awareness that I want everybody to think about here as we go into Tuesday, the election day. Now, if you're trading these markets or if you're trying to be on the defensive because of the unknown of the outcome of the election, depending on what happens, who wins, we could see drastic changes in the economic structure. Everything from taxes to UBI to even a lot of our basic freedoms that we may or may not have left. But the point is, you could see a lot of changes, so fasten your seatbelts. But real quickly, the markets, if you're in these markets for the long run, if you're investing in your 401k retirement account, yes, I think the markets will ultimately be propped up and go higher. It doesn't mean that there cannot be volatility, though. Remember, back before the lockdown recession, or as the lockdown recession began, the markets dropped. Yes, they recovered most of those losses, and some indexes went on to make new highs. But just because there's a plunge protection team and QE to infinity, and the Fed has vowed to keep these markets propped up no matter what, unlimited is what they said, it doesn't mean that they can not prevent any sort of drop. So there could likely be a wicked drop and then a correction afterwards, but the point is, just be aware of that. Don't panic. If you're in it for the long run, you may want to step to the side to see what happens, maybe buy a dip situation, because I do feel that ultimately, even if there is a dip or a drop, it's going to be pumped back up, probably to new all-time highs with, again, QE to infinity, fiat money created out of nothing, endless support for the banks and the financial system and the markets. But like we like to focus here on this channel, we like to make sure that you're aware of the real economy, which is the people's economy, and people are in big trouble. Now, you may see some statistics out there touting how the average household net worth has increased. Well, keep in mind that also includes the top 10%. So how much of that household net worth increase is just based in the upper tier, the people at the very top of the pyramid? But so far today, November 2nd, markets in the green. That is to be expected. Oil dropped pretty big over the past week. It's down to $35.77. Gold under 1900, 1892. Silver at 23.91. But let's talk about the real economy, and that's the people, the unemployment, the jobless, the people that cannot pay their monthly obligations, that are on the verge of getting foreclosed and evicted, as soon as these rescue operations stop. Now, will these rescue operations continue past November 3rd? That is the question. I don't think anybody knows the answer, but if you've been preparing like we have here on this channel, you're going to be okay. But you're going to need to prepare more than just preparing financially. We could see a lot of damage, a lot of destruction after the election, no matter who wins. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But first, this report here out of Axios: the unemployment crisis hiding in plain sight. And this article points out some major layoffs. A lot of them we've covered here. But the key to remember, new unemployment filings that we see every week, new jobless filings, are still over twice the number of filings that we saw weekly before the lockdown recession. But it does say here, just to recap some of the layoff announcements, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Charles Schwab, Raytheon, thousands of white-collar jobs. Those were followed by major layoffs from Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Salesforce, Allstate, Warner Media. Also, in the first half of 2020, more than 3,600 companies filed for bankruptcy, and the pace has since picked up. In June, just over 600 companies filed for bankruptcy protection, up 43% from June of 2019. In September, 747 companies filed for bankruptcy, a 78% increase over September 2019. And those filings are primarily small businesses that do not have access to capital or stimulus. And remember, a lot of those small businesses were forced to close when the mega corporations were allowed to operate. And also those mega corporations, they were much more well equipped to handle the restructuring that had to be done as far as the rules and the distancing and the protections that had to be put in place. And you've probably heard it said that we are heading into a dark winter. Well, I think it's going to be more than just a dark winter. I think it's going to be possibly a dark decade. I hope I'm wrong, but we still want to try to focus and try to be on the right side of this and be on the safe side of this, most importantly. A recent CNBC article, American families are in survival mode. Right, we are seeing a lot less spending on unnecessary items and trips and vacations. Yes, a lot of it is because of the fear of the virus, and a lot of people just don't want to hassle being in an airport, for example. Right, but people are really cutting back on their spending. We're seeing major cuts to unnecessary expenses like cable TV. We've reported on that here several times. A lot of people are cutting the cord. Restaurant traffic has declined significantly, even in restaurants that did not close down. In some areas, not all areas. Now, of course, you're still going to see a lot of people still spending money that they do not need to spend. The millions of people that cannot pay their mortgages and their rents is about 6 million when you combine together the housing costs, rent, and mortgages both. Out of those millions of people, are people still going to amusement parks and Disneyland? You know, if you cannot pay your rent and you're several months behind on your rent, like millions of people are right now, and you're still going to Disneyland and amusement parks, you really need to have your head examined, because your priorities in life, I mean, I don't know how you would have survived up until now with priorities like that, but when I see all these people lined up to throw their money at Walt Disney or some other fun place, quote unquote fun place, it just amazes me. And this article highlights something that we've been talking about for a long time. Millions of Americans have moved in with family members because of the crisis, and we reported on this in July. 52% of young adults lived with one or both of their parents, up from 47% in February. Now, that number had been increasing for many years as the cost of living increased. The age group that saw the bigger problems were the younger people that having to pay $40, $50, $60,000 for a college education, and sadly many of them getting their degree only to find out that they're stuck in the gig economy, maybe driving Uber or a low-wage entry-level job. Recent article here, internationalman.com, Doug Casey, can your vote prevent a civil war? Right? I have explained to you many times my feelings on this, and I feel like it's a divided country, and it's divided that way on purpose to get everyone distracted away from the real issues, the real causes of the problems that we're seeing here, financially, economically, and that bleeds over into socially. So now you have one group blaming the other group and vice versa. And I think that we need to be very prepared for what could happen. We're definitely going to see some protests, possibly some dangerous situations. And I have to be very careful about what I say here on this platform. But there are groups out there that want to see this country torn down. And one side, I think they're going to try to cause chaos and damage no matter who wins. The other side, I think they're going to be more likely to kind of hold back as long as their candidate gets in the office. But again, everybody, stay careful. I'm not sure how many reports I'm going to be able to do this week. I've been preparing. You might have noticed a little bit less of an output in my videos here lately. I just put up new security lights, new perimeter alarm system. Get yourself some protection if you haven't got it already. I know the gun stores have been seeing record sales and supply shortages for self-defense mechanisms and lead. So everybody, hope you're well. We'll try to get as many updates as we can out to you this week. Until the next one, thanks everybody for watching. Bye now.